inside a Biden White House adrift. This is going to be fun. That's all I can say. Amid a rolling series of calamities and sinking approval ratings, the president's feeling lately is that he just can't catch a break, and that angst is rippling through his party. This is great. Washington. Faced with a worsening political predicament, President Joe Biden is pressing aides for a more compelling message and sharper strategy, while bristling at how they've tried to stifle the plain-speaking persona that has long been one of his most potent assets. Potent assets? What? Biden is rattled by his sinking approval ratings and is looking to regain voters' confidence that he can provide the sure-handed leadership he promised during the campaign, people close to the president say. This is great. I love this because it's like Joe Biden doing nothing. He stands there and does nothing, and then he's like, "Why don't anybody like me?" You're like, it's like he thinks people don't like him because like he's doing gaffes or something, and sometimes like his staff is like mixed messaging. People don't like you because you're not doing anything. It's that simple. Sign an executive order that legalizes marijuana. You literally campaigned on that fucking shit, dude. You literally campaigned on legalizing, decriminalizing marijuana nationwide. That was part of his fucking platform. And it can be done without Congress. It's insane, right? Like, so again, like this guy, why don't anybody like me? Jesus, fuck off, fuck. Crises have piled up in ways that have at times made the Biden White House look flat-footed. Why are they so, like, that's no reason to, like, attack people with flat feet. That's a serious medical condition. Record inflation, high gas prices, a rise in COVID case numbers, and now a Texas school massacre that is one more horrific reminder that he has been unable to get Congress to pass legislation to curb gun violence. Democratic leaders are at a loss about how he can revive his prospects by November when midterm elections may cost his party control of Congress. This, you know what's insane to me? Well, actually, let's read this quote first. "I don't know what's required here," said Rep. James Clyburn, whose endorsement in the 2020 primaries helped rescue Biden's struggling candidacy. "But I do know these poll numbers have been stuck where they are for far too long." Now, I just want to say, this is the most truthful thing that Jim fucking fuckface shit for brains, fuck, motherfuck, I wish this guy would... This is the most truthful thing he's probably ever said in his entire life. I don't know what's required here. No shit, dude. No goddamn fucking shit, you don't know what's fucking required here. Jim Clyburn, enemy of America? If you were to like analyze the 2020 primaries in a historical lens, Jim Clyburn, Elizabeth Warren, Barack Obama, these are the people that destroyed this country. Like, when you really think about it, like, where are these motherfuckers? Bernie would never be able to govern. Bernie can't govern, but you gotta vote for Joe because you can get those Republicans in track. Gotta vote for Joe because he knows how the Senate works. Bernie ain't know how the Senate works. You gotta vote for Joe. That's what these motherfuckers were telling us 2 years ago. Now, I don't fucking know, bro. What you got? Don't know what's required here. That's insane. That's insane. Like, I don't know. Again, executive order. You can't get Congress to do anything? Legalize marijuana. Reschedule it to nothing. He literally can't. Kamala Harris, they sent Kamala Harris to the heavily black neighborhoods to do rallies where she would tell people we're going to decriminalize cannabis nationwide. Interesting, by the way. And then they just forgot. They just forgot. Whoops, don't slip my mind. And there's a lot of things they can do with executive order, like student loan debt and so forth. They're just choosing not to. This is like the fucking, like the meme, right? Where like it zooms in on the kid with the boot in their face. And then the second panel is it zooms out and the kid's got the boot in their hand, like doing it to themselves. That's the Joe Biden presidency right now. How come nobody likes me? Oh! How about you watch literally one of your 2020 campaign speeches? Just watch one, and that'll remind you why the fuck we put you in office, you fucking douchebag. Jesus goddamn fucking Christ. And then again, Democratic Party leaders don't know what's going on. No shit. You think Nancy Pelosi, who as of a week ago was saying this fucking shit? Like, Jesus.
Here I am, Nancy Pelosi, saying this country needs a strong Republican Party, and we do.
You think she knows what the fuck's going on? These fucking people are ridiculous, man. These are the people, again, the United States, before the United States became a country, and after the United States became a country, there was a concept known as the tar and feather. When you are acting like a fucking moron and the public decided you were a fucking nuisance, they would cover you in tar and feather you and then just make you walk around town looking like a dumbass. What happened to that? Let's be honest. What happened to the tar and feather? And can we do something about this? Can we bring this back? If I ever run for any political office, I'm going to run, right, on tar and feathering these fucking moron politicians. Because goddamn, that's insane. Like, I mean, like, there's no accountability. These motherfuckers never face the consequences for their actions. It's just the poor people that have to face the consequences. They're just so horrible. They're so horrible. But anyway, this article it gets better. A West Wing shakeup? Speculation is churning that Biden could shake up the West Wing staff. Although, that's not about to happen right away. Multiple people close to the White House said they've heard that Chief of Staff Ron Klain will depart at some point after the midterms. And one has heard him discuss leaving. Should Klain go, a potential successor is Anita Dunn, a White House advisor and Biden confidant, whom he often turns to when his fortunes look bleak. Dunn began working at the White House at the start of the term, then left and returned in early May at Biden's specific request. No woman or person of color has ever been the White House Chief of Staff since the position was created after World War II. I'm sure, like, changing the Chief of Staff is going to save this sinking ship, right? I like all of y'all motherfuckers freaking out about tar and feathering. Like, I'm aware of what tar and feathering's historical purpose is. I'm aware, okay, motherfucker? Then why do you think I said it? Anyway, other possible replacements include Steve Ricchetti, a longtime Biden aide, who's a counselor to the president, and Susan Rice, the domestic policy chief. After he lost the Virginia governor's race last year, Terry McAuliffe spoke to the White House about taking a senior role as an advisor to the president, cabinet secretary, or chief of staff. People familiar with the matter said. People familiar with the matter. I love the lingo that these motherfuckers use. Like, we can't name anyone's names. It's just this person is someone who's familiar with the matter. The White House didn't make Klain or Dunn available for comment. Remy Yamamoto, a senior White House communications advisor, said, as Ron has said publicly, he has not set a time frame, and this is not a discussion on top of anyone's minds here. The article is based on interviews with more than 24 current and former administration officials, lawmakers, congressional aides, and other Democrats close to the White House who spoke on the condition of anonymity to freely discuss the president's private conversations. Any assessment of Biden's performance needs to take into account the epic challenges he faced from the start. Yeah, guess what? That's why we elected Biden as president. The American people were like, Donald Trump, probably not the best guy to be handling COVID and all these other issues. Let's get literally anyone else. And then Joe Biden was like, I'm your guy. I'm literally someone else. So then we voted for Joe Biden. And then, question mark, did he forget? Like, did he forget why we voted for him? Like, hello? Hello? Like, what a fucking dumbass. Like, no shit. You literally... Remember when Joe Biden was like, the reason I ran in the first place because of Charlottesville. And he's doing nothing about right-wing violence. He's doing nothing about mass shootings. He's doing nothing about... What? You know what I mean? It's crazy. They came in with the most daunting set of challenges arguably since FDR, only to then be hit by a perfect storm of crises, from Ukraine to inflation to the supply chain to baby formula, said Chris Whipple. Now that's a name. I want to change my last name to Whipple. Said Chris Whipple, the author of a book about White House Chief of Staff, who is now writing a book about the Biden presidency. What's next? Locusts? You know, the thing about these so-called crises is they're only happening because Joe Biden is not doing anything. If Joe Biden were to have done literally anything, inflation wouldn't be a problem. The supply chain wouldn't be a problem. COVID wouldn't be a problem. If we had properly funded all of these things a year ago, a year and a half ago, they wouldn't be crises. The crises right now of inflation and the supply chain and all that stuff is literally Biden's fault. Biden, on day one of him being in office during the American Rescue Plan, should have had a lot of funding to beef up the supply chain. Anyone who knows anything about economics, even some shit-fuck high school dropout like myself, would know that a pandemic is going to slow down the supply chain. And so maybe you should proactively do a mass hiring program to get more people to fill in the gaps. Maybe, but they did nothing. They did nothing. This is not like just, oh, there's a hurricane and we can't do anything. These are disasters, some of which are literally created by this presidency. Like, I mean, like, yes, COVID, that's a Trump problem, but what has Biden done on COVID? Nothing. He's done nothing. He declared victory 6,000 times, and now we're in the middle of another wave, and no one has any data because the CDC is just covering up all the information. So, like, the one major thing that Trump fucked up, and Biden said, I'm gonna fix that. He's literally running to the right of Donald Trump on at this point. I mean, like, honestly, look at the CDC, look at the shit that they're posting on Twitter, look at their fucking press briefings, and tell me that that's not something Donald Trump would do. I don't know, man. Biden wonders the same thing. Look at this sad sack. Who is this? Ron Klain? Look at this sad sack. This guy looks like he's about to fall over. Oh! I've heard him say recently that he used to say about President Obama's tenure that everything landed on his desk but locusts. And now he understands how that feels, a White House official said. Jesus. Managerial breakdowns. Amid a rolling series of calamities, Biden's feeling lately is that he just can't catch a break. Biden is frustrated. If it's not one thing, it's another, said a person close to the president. Again, why is Biden acting defensively? He's not even acting defensively. He has no defense, right? But, like, he should be proactively trying to prevent crises from emerging, right? That's what the president should be doing. The president has access to all the information that we have access to, and then some. And yet, the president just found out about the baby formula shortage, like, 4 months after it was widely publicized in the news. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be reactive, but even if you are going to be defensive and reactive, at least have a defense. So not only are they not defensive, they're not proactive, they're not offensive, they're just sitting there. Like Biden's like, you might as well start a podcast. Like, he's not doing anything at all. Look, today is day whatever the fuck of my presidency, and I'd like to announce that I'm doing nothing. That's right, everybody. And then he just, like, does a podcast about, like, cars or something. I mean, that would make his approval rating go up. If he just did a podcast about, like, something he likes, like cars, like, I know he likes cars. And if he just did a podcast about cars and trains, I guarantee you his approval rating would go up, right? Like, he's not doing anything, so you might as well, like, you know, make content out of the fact that you're not doing anything. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? An assumption baked into Biden's candidacy was that he would preside over a smoothly running administration by dint of the decades of experience in public office. Yet, there are signs of managerial breakdowns that have angered both him and his party. You know what? Here's an example. Remember when Biden was like, the USPS! Trump's trying to destroy the USPS with this Louis DeJoy guy! And then, here we are, a year and a half into Biden's presidency, and there's going to be an event at the White House. They're going to celebrate Nancy Reagan stamps, and Louis DeJoy is going to show up. So, 2 years ago, Louis DeJoy was a threat to democracy. Now, he's got the power to replace him. But he's not. He just doesn't care. He just doesn't give a shit. Right? And then he's going to be like, oh, my FDA is slowed down because Trump got rid of all the good guys. And you have the power to appoint better guys. Like, again, like, we're not, like, this isn't, like, the third week of the Biden administration, and we're still dealing with the fucking shitfuck of Trump, and we haven't had enough time to do anything. We've had plenty of time for Biden to do literally anything at all about the administrative breakdown of this country. And he's just done nothing. He's just winging it. Biden is annoyed that he wasn't alerted sooner about the baby formula shortage, and that he got his first briefing in the past month. Even though the crisis had long been in the making, the White House didn't specify when Biden got his first briefing on the formula shortage. His nominee to head the Food and Drug Administration, Dr. Robert Califf, told Congress last week the agency was sluggish and that it had made suboptimal decisions as parents hunted for formula on empty store shelves. So I have a question. Why is nominee to head the Food and Drug Administration? Why isn't this guy already the head of the Food and Drug Administration? And why wasn't he installed in February of 2021? I'm just wondering. What did they spend all of this time during the transition doing? Like, don't you have a transition team that's supposed to, like, find people to do this kind of stuff? Why are we now learning that the FDA is in shambles? Why didn't you do something about it in February or January of 2021? That should have been like a day one priority. You have all your nominations set up and ready to go. Beyond policy, Biden is unhappy about a pattern that has developed inside the West Wing. He makes a clear and succinct statement, only to have aides rush to explain that he actually meant something else. The so-called cleanup campaign, as he has told advisors, undermines him and smothers the authenticity that fueled his rise. Worse, it feeds a Republican talking point that he's not fully in command. All right, you want to act like you're fully in command? Great. Sign an executive order decriminalizing cannabis nationwide. I'm ready. Let's do it. Like, that's the one thing that Joe Biden is interesting on, right? Is that people view him as, like, folksy, you know?
Get your words straight, Jack.
But it's just like, okay, the folksy can only go so far. You know what I mean? Like, okay, let's assume this cleanup campaign isn't a thing. Does he think that that is going to make his approval rating go up? Like, that is the least important thing out of all of this. Is that, oh, people just they're not aware of how folksy I can be. That is the least important thing on this list right now. The issue came to a head when Biden ad-libbed during a speech in Poland that Russian President Vladimir Putin cannot remain in power, which, by the way, I thought that was pretty funny. Within minutes, Biden's aides tried to walk back his comments, saying he hadn't called for Putin's removal and that U.S. policy was unchanged. Biden was furious that his remarks were being seen as unreliable, arguing that he speaks genuinely and reminding his staff that he's the one who's president. Okay, someone you don't like does something, get rid of him. right? Like, okay, they're undermining your authenticity. Great. Get rid of them. Do something. Asked about the staff's practice of clarifying Biden's remarks, the official said, "We don't say anything the president doesn't want us to say." So his staff is going rogue. His staff literally is like, no, Joe Biden's lying. He wants us to do this, but he's telling everyone else no. So someone's telling the truth and someone's lying. Democrats unnerved. Biden's angst is rippling through the party. Democratic lawmakers are sparring among themselves and blaming the White House for their dim prospects in November. I want to remind everyone, the Democratic Speaker of the House endorsed someone with an A rating from the NRA who is anti-abortion in a primary and has been running around the country saying this.
Here I am, Nancy Pelosi, saying this country needs a strong Republican Party, and we do.
So, it's not just the White House. The idea that someone like Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer are going to blame the White House. Have you, thought of assuming leadership? There's a vacuum right now. Chuck Schumer, this is your chance to shine. You're the most coherent of the three Democratic leaders. Biden, Pelosi, Schumer. He is, let's be real. Chuck Schumer, not so good. But he at least can string a sentence together. Let's be honest. Let's be honest about this. Chuck fucking motherfuck. Do something. This is your time to shine. You're the fucking majority leader in the Senate. Do something. Biden's not going to do something. Pelosi's only making this fucking shit worse. Rep. Stephanie Murphy, D. Fla, said the White House has failed to put forward what she called an intellectually honest plan to combat inflation, a burden that ranks first among Americans' economic concerns, polling indicates. A bill the House passed to crack down on alleged gas price gouging isn't an answer, she said. What? That is absolutely an answer. If I sound frustrated, it's because I hear from my constituents. Wouldn't you want to ban price gouging? What does that mean? That's not the answer. The answer is not just doing it for gas prices, but doing it for food, doing it for electricity, doing it for, everything else that we have to deal with, medicine, prescription drugs, right? We could be doing anti-price gouging measures on everything. So, and that of course, the one Democrat they interview is like, yeah, the one thing that the people have proposed that would actually help, I don't want that. This is fucking insane, man. This shit is insane. It's crazy. A spokeswoman for her office said she hasn't talked about policy with a senior White House official in 6 months. The White House official countered that Murphy has been in very regular contact with our staff here. How about instead of bickering like fucking children, how about you do something? Anything. At all. One thing. We're talking about one thing. What is the last thing that this fucking administration did that was even remotely interesting? The American Rescue Plan. When was that? More than a fucking year ago? And then you get these fucking stupid fucking shit fuck motherfucking people. What about the bipartisan infrastructure? Bipartisan infrastructure! That shit's fucking garbage. It's a corporate handout bill that's not even going to fix any fucking bridge in the country. Not going to fix the water crisis in this country. Not going to fix the food supply crisis in this country. Fuck the fucking infrastructure bill. That was shit. That was just a big piece of paper that said, we're going to give all of our money to corporations. But in bold print at the top, it says, bipartisan infrastructure. And then 90% of Americans are fucking stupid. So they hear bipartisan, they think, might be good, right? And then liberals are like, oh yeah, we've passed them. It's infrastructure week. Is the water quality going up in this country? When was that shit passed? In November? September? When did they pass the bipartisan infrastructure package? Has water quality increased in this country? No. Has road quality increased in this country? No. Has telecommunications networks increased in quality in this country? No. Huh? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Alright, let's keep going. This is great. I'm having fun here. I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, but this is the main story that I want to talk about today because it's hilarious. Biden has vented to aides about not getting credit from Americans or the news media for actions he believes have helped the country, particularly on the economy. Unemployment rates have dropped to below 4%, pre-pandemic levels, but polling indicates most Americans believe the economy is in bad shape. Biden grouses that Republicans aren't getting their share of the blame for legislative gridlock in Congress, while he's repeatedly faulted for not getting his agenda passed. There's two things I want to talk about here. One, unemployment rate doesn't fucking mean anything. Oh, it's back to pre-pandemic levels. If people are getting fired or losing their jobs throughout the pandemic, let's say someone is paid $13 an hour, they lose their job, right? They're on unemployment, they get a new job, and it's minimum wage, $7.25 an hour, because we haven't fucking improved the minimum wage, because the parliamentarian said $15 is too much. The parliamentarian, so we couldn't do the minimum wage hike. So if someone loses their job and gets a job that pays worse, or someone now, they had one job, and now they have a second job, well, the jobs have increased. Biden literally thinks that's a good thing. It's like when George fucking Bush was like someone asked George Bush, I have to work 3 jobs to make ends meet. And then George Bush was like, ain't that uniquely American? Heck yeah. Got to work 3 jobs. Good for jobs numbers going up. Good job. What? But they actually think unemployment rate means anything. They actually think that. They literally think the unemployment rate is like the metric of how you judge the economy. What the fuck? What? Right, but then we also have Biden grouses that Republicans aren't getting their share of blame for legislative gridlock in Congress. Again, Joe Biden is going out there saying, I think Mitch McConnell's a rational Republican. Meanwhile, Mitch McConnell has openly said his entire goal for the first, half of Biden's term is to block everything he can, utilizing the filibuster, right? So, but Joe Biden's going out there saying, I love Mitch McConnell. Joe Biden saying, the fever will break. The Republicans are sane and rational. Trust me, bro. So when you go out there and tell people the Republicans, they'll fall in line. Trust me. 6 months later, they'll fall in line. Trust me. By the way, Mitch McConnell, he's a great guy. They'll fall in line. Trust me. The Republicans are rational. They're rational. Don't worry. Trump's gone. The Republicans are real rational people. And now all of a sudden, he's like, why ain't anybody blaming the goddamn Republicans? Maybe you should go out there and say the Republicans are fucking morons. They're crazy. And by the way, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, they're basically Republicans. And this is why I'm announcing today that I'm calling to expel them from the Democratic Party. At least call them what they are. They're blocking my fucking agenda through and through. They won't do fucking anything. They're not letting me do anything. So go to the fucking Republican Party, and then we'll run against the Republicans as a unified Democratic Party in the midterms. But he's not going to do that because that would require doing something. That would require doing literally anything at all, like one thing. He's now lower than Trump, and he's really twisted about it. Another person close to the White House said, this is a great image. Like, is he asleep or is he just fucking depressed? At a meeting with advisors about a month ago, Biden was surprised to see polling that indicated he had dropped among suburban women. According to 2 people familiar with the meeting, an advisor said Biden gets weekly polling briefings that delve into key demographics, and that because he is kept apprised regularly, he didn't have that reaction. At a news conference in September, Biden said flatly, I don't look at the polls. Not a joke. But, okay, so he doesn't look at the polls, and yet he gets weekly polling updates. Interesting. Interesting. The White House official denied that Biden is feeling frustrated. What he's pushing for is to make a sharper case for all that we have accomplished thus far. What have we accomplished? What have you done? One thing! The American Rescue Plan. That's it! That's the only thing that this administration has actually done. And when was that? Oh, right. About 1.5 years ago. And tell me, what are the provisions of the American Rescue Plan that we're still benefiting from? Because last time I checked, child tax credit, gone. Stimulus check, now they're blaming that for inflation, right? So they're making people think that we shouldn't have even gotten in the first place. They're lying to people about that, right? Unemployment benefits, gone. So, okay, the one thing you did, it's over. You can't just, we gave you some money 1.5 years ago, and now you don't have any money because of inflation, and we're not doing anything about inflation. So we gave you some money, and then all these corporations stole all your money, but And don't you like us? It's insane. A few weeks ago, Biden started employing a midterm election tactic that has been a go-to for sitting presidents: villainize the opposition. He has sought to tether Republicans to Trump's Make America Great Again agenda, but Biden has been leaning on White House aides to come up with a message that captures the stark choices voters face. Biden himself thought up the phrase ultra MAGA, which he and other Democrats have started using in hopes of drawing a clear contrast with Trump's movement. This shit's amazing. Like, these motherfuckers are insane. The phrase tested well in polling reviewed by the White House. Oh, really? Okay, interesting. But it also had the unintended effect of firing up Trump's faithful. Merchandisers have found a hot market for Ultra MAGA t-shirts. He shares the view that we haven't landed on a winning midterm message, a third person close to the White House said of the president, and he's putting a lot of pressure on people to... That's the best he got. Oh, I don't know. We'll call him Ultra MAGA. I mean, again, man. I mean, again,
Did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you, Joe.
No reprieve ahead. One of Biden's prescriptions for his political troubles at the start of his new year was to travel outside of Washington more. As he has gotten out of the country, he has also gotten an earful from Democrats about what his administration is or isn't doing. People confront him, said a top Democratic donor who has witnessed such conversations at fundraisers. All he's hearing is, why can't you get anything done? Well, I'm glad people are asking him that question, but maybe he should think about providing an answer. It's no wonder about 3/4 of Americans believe the country is on the wrong track. A recent NBC News poll found only the fifth time in the last 34 years that so many Americans have been dissatisfied with the nation's direction. There is no respite after the midterms. 2024 presidential election season begins in earnest once the last races are called. No sitting president wants to be challenged for the party's nomination. Biden can't count on a free ride. We're on track. We're on a losing track, Faiz Shakir, a senior advisor to Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont, said of the Democrats. That's true. That's the one true thing that we've seen in this article from a Democratic strategist of some kind. These motherfuckers, man. Like, I mean, again, this shit is hilarious. And the reason why I read this entire article is because, one, I think it's funny. And two, it really illustrates that the Democratic Party leadership is not only are they worse, or not only are they doing nothing, but they're doing worse than nothing. Like, again, Nancy Pelosi is spending millions of dollars fundraising and endorsing pro-NRA, anti-abortion candidates. She's going around begging the Republican Party to get stronger. Right? She's going around like saying that any good legislation that people would bring up can't do it. Chuck Schumer, I mean, like, is Chuck Schumer even alive? Like, have you seen anything from Chuck Schumer at all in, like, the last year? He's done nothing. And Joe Biden is asleep at the wheel. The entire Democratic Party leadership is fucking garbage. And everyone else in the party is afraid to say anything. AOC, like, a couple weeks ago, was like, Democratic Party leadership is bad. Great. Continue on that track. Why does she only say that every once in a while? She should be going on television every day, doing podcasts and Instagram lives every day saying Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Joe Biden are fucking garbage, and we need to fucking move past that fucking ancient fucking shit-fuck leadership. That's what she should be doing. I'm glad she's the only one in the entire world who's actually called anyone out at all. But do it a little bit more. Everyone knows that the Democratic Party leadership is garbage. But the rest of the party is afraid to say anything. And that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Look at what happened to Madison Cawthorn. Madison Cawthorn said something that was really funny. That, oh, yeah, I got invited to a cocaine orgy. And you know what the fucking Republican Party did? They fucking destroyed him. They fucking ended his career forever. Because he slightly deviated from marching in lockstep. Take a fucking hint. That's how politics fucking works. This shit is embarrassing. I am embarrassed to be an American. I have to tell you, I am embarrassed to be an American, without a doubt. People ask me, oh, where are you from? Oh, I'm from America. And they're like, ugh. And I don't blame them. What a fucking hell.